Delighted on this episode of Words, Images, and Worlds to be talking with comics creator Lawrence Goodman. Lawrence, thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me. Very excited to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Glad to have you. And I know that we're talking about the second entry in a series that you're working on, the first of which is Gray Cells, and we are now talking about white noise. So curious to hear about that. And I always ask about author origins. So, what connected you with the world of comics?
Oh, I've since a kid I was always interested in. I grew up on like Chris Claremont's X-Men, and I was around
Mhm.
for the awful Superman run where it was the blue and red. I don't know if anyone remembers um, that iteration of him. I think he
Oh,
was just trying
yes.
to get a new audience. Yeah. That was I'd queue up excited every week to try and get my hands on the comics that were coming over, and that was the one that I kept picking up even though I wasn't enjoying it. But um, yeah,
But you
so
persisted.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've always had like a bug for trying to create comics. I had some awful attempts at it as a kid, and grew up and found my voice, and now here I am um, however many years later, finally sort of putting my ideas into print.
Nice, nice. That process of finding your voice has to be kind of an interesting thing. What were some of the ingredients in that for you?
I think you have to live a little, like you have to actually experience stuff, and then you write things that are authentic and honest. A lot of the times when you're a bit too young, you're just regurgitating stuff that you've seen other people do. So you tend to rewrite Batman because you like Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And then you need to sort of live a little and experience bits of life to sort of see what's really what's really honest and what you can if you actually have something to say rather than just oh, this is cool, this is this looks fun.
Yeah, yeah. For those that are not familiar with gray cells and white noise, anything that you'd like to share as sort of a teaser, a tagline, or anything like that?
Yeah, so Grey Cells is it started in I wrote it during COVID, and it was about all the thing. I sort of sat down and wanted to write something scary, so something that frightened me. So I was thinking about what has always frightened me from a kid, and it's sort of like losing control of your mind, losing control of your senses, and not being able to sort of tell truth from reality, which really was how the world felt at that time. So Grace Cells is about a young boy that gets abducted in the night by this mysterious creature no one believes exists. And this journalist is trying to find out the truth of what happened to him. So she's coming up against sort of like a report. She's a reporter. She's coming up against like a system that's a little bit rigid, that's a little uncaring, that's not the dismissive of what's happening and trying to find out the truth and go through it from there. So it's her trying to find out who's abducting these children and why. And then White Noise picks up and follows on from those characters in the aftermath of the first story. So delves a little bit deeper into their relationships and looks a little bit more into this sort of dark web that I created in the first one. So a little bit more of the tendrils and some of the true sort of seats of power that pulling the strings behind the scenes.
What was it like to get to expand the story with a second uh, arc?
It was a lot more difficult than the first one. So the first you've got infinite time to sort of to come to grips with, and then luckily I work with a really great artist, Kay, who is as much of the writer of this as I am. So he's great at sort of keeping me in line and saying, well, that doesn't make sense. What if we did it this way? I'm like, oh yeah, that's much better. Why didn't I think of that? He's based out in Detroit, and a lot of his sort of what he sees around him ends up translated into the art of the comics. So he was really surprised sort of when we first connected over Reddit, and I was sort of laying stuff down, and I was trying to pitch it to him, like would he like to work on something like this? And he was like, "Oh wow, you've just described like the place where I live," and I was, "Oh right, oh that's good."
Nice, nice. What's that collaboration been like from there, and how has that sort of encouraged the book along?
I've been so lucky. Like I could not have picked a better artist to work with. So I can draw myself. So I started trying to do it myself. And what I quickly found was um, being able to draw a picture doesn't mean you can draw a comic. And so I was coming up with okay art, and I was like, this doesn't feel exciting or anything. So I looked for someone who could sort of capture um, sort of the feel and the horror of what I was going for. And he hit the nail on the head. Originally, we were going to do it in black and white. And I thought I was so clever with the name Grey Cells because it's got so there's like a supernatural element to it. There's like a psychic villain and a protagonist that can do some stuff as well. And so I was like, Grey Cells, like in your brain. That's clever. And then Grey Cells, there's a kid being trapped in literal grey cell. And then I was like, oh, and if we did it in black and white, then it's Grey Cells. This is brilliant. Like three meanings in one. And he convinced me like, let's try it in color. And so we brought on Corey Ranson, and the color just elevated it like to another level, and added like a lot more atmosphere. And yeah, really, two of the greatest artists I could have picked, and they were my first choices when I went on Reddit looking. And from what I've heard, like with other people, I've won the lottery, like teaming up with these guys, because there's especially now with the sort of coming in of like AI and stuff. There's a lot of less scrutable people about, and
Mhm.
I've managed to find like two amazing artists out of the gate, which is fantastic.
Nice, nice. And uh, do you envision more? Do you envision sort of a continuing of an unfolding of the story?
Yeah, yeah, we've there's further down the lines that I want to go with it. There's it's just trying to find the sort of right angle for the next one. So with this one, I tried to expand the world a little and brought in some new sort of point of view characters. And so this new story, White Noise, is about an artist, musician who's about to make it big, and it's about the cost of like fame and what he has to sacrifice in order to get to like the next level in his art. And that playing off against like the existing world that we've built makes it a really deep and interesting story. So the next one I want to do something similar, and maybe look into some of the things that are going on now. I couldn't have imagined like the world unfolding the way that it has. So when we sat down to write White Noise, I didn't imagine like the P Diddy stuff coming out like almost
Mhm.
immediately, and everything around that. And I was like, oh, do I know these things? Is this is it? Yeah, if I tapped into something, and I think so sometimes like if you just write like honestly and say things that you're seeing and how it works, sometimes you get echoes in reality, which is a little bit frightening sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Human observation, right? That insight into the pipeline of experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Any secrets to the writing process that you've learned, or anything that secrets makes it sound kind of like recipe or something like that, but anything that has been especially helpful to you in the writing process?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that I've lent on over the years. There's a guy who's got a YouTube channel, Hello Future Me, and he's was really good at sort of laying out the world building um side of things. But one of the best things that I can't remember his name. Do you remember the guy who was the Marvel chief editor, um, who started when he was like 13, and was
Oh, is that
writing like Superman comics? And he just
Jim
died
Shooter?
recently. Jim
Yeah,
Shooter,
Jim
yes.
Shooter. Hmm.
Yeah. He did like a couple of lectures on like how to write. And one of the it was the first thing that ever really clicked with me. Like you know when you're sort of at school and everyone goes, "Oh, you've got to have a beginning, middle, and an end," and no one ever explains what a beginning, a middle, and an end are. They just expect you to know. Well, he broke it down with the nursery rhyme, Little Miss Muffet, and and then suddenly I was like, oh, I understand what a story is now. And so it was like Little Miss Muffet. You introduced the character, sat on a tuffet, like what they're up to when the story begins, eating their curds and whey, and then you introduce the conflict, like the antagonist. And so along came a spider, and then what does the spider do to her? Like it sits down beside her, and then the outcome, like what the resolution of that story is, and it frightened her away. And then I'd read loads of things, like I'd read Save the Cat, and I'd read um lots of different like books on writing, but nothing ever sort of hit really close down. So I was like, oh yeah, of course, that's exactly how a story works. So then suddenly I'm like, oh right, yeah. So if you know, sometimes when you're writing and you can get a little bit carried away, you've lost track of what you're doing, and you're like, oh, this is dragged on a bit. Why is it dragged on a bit? Oh, I haven't got. Oh, there's the cat. Um, yeah, like where have I gone wrong? It's I haven't hit one of these elements, or I'm taking too long to get to the bit, and now it's like, oh, it's such a simple thing that you can't forget it, and it's really easy to do. So that's my writing method is children's nursery rhymes.
Nice, nice, absolutely, yeah. And what a great way to constrain all that, put it in one space, and memorable as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's really hard to forget it. Like you spend the first sort of 8 years of your life learning that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in terms of the book, in terms of the series, if I want to find out more about your work, if I want to support, where are some places that I might go to do that?
So we've got a website. It's inkeddreams.com, and then you can get our books there. Great Grey Cells is there. There's issue one is free on the website as well, so you can download that for free if you wanted a PDF version. It's on Amazon and things like that, but don't give Jeff Bezos money if you can avoid it. It's And then we're currently doing the Kickstarter right now for White Noise. So there's a couple of weeks left on that. So if you want to get in early and get some like exclusive artwork and things like that, this is a great moment to jump in. And there's special edition versions of Grey Cells available as well through that, which you've got like some extra artwork in and things.
Wonderful, wonderful. Have we missed anything that you want to make sure to include on the episode?
No, I think that's it. Yeah, it's a great story. I know I wrote it, so I'm probably a bit biased, but we've got really great reviews from some critics, and got nominated for a Glyph Award as well. So it's not just me that thinks it's good. Other people agree. Yeah.
Wonderful. Lawrence, glad to have connected with you. Glad to have you back anytime, and best of luck with the Kickstarter campaign.